So, Mark, Erik ten Hag has had 18 months in charge at Old Trafford, and it's been a real mix of the good, the bad, and the ugly. And one thing is definitely for sure, it hasn't been dull, but everyone has been questioning his transfer business in the transfer windows. And he's brought in 16 players, and today we're going to get you to rank them from 16 being the worst to 1 being the best. So we might as well start at the bottom of the pile. Who have you got around 16th, 15th, and 14th?
Well, basically, I've just gone with 3 goalkeepers here. So I've got Dubravka at 16, Butland at 15, and BeIN at what would be 14 as my bottom 3.
Do you just think, not good enough, just backup goalkeepers, not really going to offer anything for Manchester United going forward then?
Yeah, I think with Dubravka and Butland, I mean, they barely played. They were just brought in to sit on the bench and be squad players, really. And with BeIN, he's not. I don't think he's had a minute for Manchester United yet. So we've spent money on somebody that we don't know who he is.
I think that's logical to start off this list. Now then, let's go to your 13th, your 12th, and your 11th.
Yeah, so it might be a bit controversial here, but I've actually put unlucky 13 as Mason Mount. I've gone with Sabitzer at 12 and Amrabat at 11. And I'm noticing here there's a collection of goalkeepers in the bottom 3, and then the next 3 are a collection of midfielders.
And would you say then Mason Mount obviously hasn't had the best start? Now he's injured as well. Can you see his time coming well at Manchester United? Same with Amrabat as well. I know it's a loan. Could that deal become a permanent?
Yeah, I mean, they're just low down because there's the players that are above them, as we'll see, have done more. For Mason Mount, it was a massive signing. It was a bit of a confusing signing, and it's still a confusing signing. Injuries are bad luck, but he's not set the world on fire either. At the moment, you'd have to say he's in the flop category, but you're absolutely correct. It's very early days, and it's very early days for Amrabat as well.
And now we are in the top 10. So we'll go with these one by one a little bit. So who have you put at 10 and 9 we'll start with?
So I put Wout Weghorst at 10 and I've put Onana at number 9. The reason I went with Weghorst is because he was a bit of a laughing stock. But to be honest, between January and the end of the season, if we didn't have him, he was actually somebody who just ran around a bit and played up front. And we did get top 3 and we did get to 2 cup finals. With Onana, I just think, again, as I've mentioned before, to spend that much money to replace David De Gea and then to concede the goals he's conceded, you could argue he should be lower, but I've got him in at number 9.
Now, to round up the last few positions, we'll do 8, 7, and 6, and then we'll dissect 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, one at a time. So who have you got in those 3 positions?
So I've gone with Johnny Evans at number 8. I've gone with Antony at number 7, and then I've gone with Reguilon at number 6. Reasoning being Johnny Evans as a free transfer has done and come in and played a few games for us and done okay. Antony, I don't think he's as bad as some people make out, but the price tag is restrictive towards him. It's been a bit up in the air, so I think about 7's fine. And then number 6, Reguilon. I mean, to be fair, for a loan deal, he's played quite a lot of football for us this season, and with Luke Shaw and Malacia injured, he's been quite important. So I think as a loan deal, Reguilon's been relatively successful.
And now we head into the top 5. So who have you got in 5th spot?
Yeah, again, I mean, I'd like to put him a little bit lower, but I put Malacia there, and I think that this is because there's been a high volume of players that are sort of haven't played much, loanees that really didn't work, or a lot of sort of middle of the road signings. And I would say that Malacia as a number in at number 5, we did only spend about £15 million on him, and we knew he was a backup left back.
And now we head to number 4. Who have you got in that spot?
Yeah, I think for me, this is where it gets better. I think all 4 of these signings are good. I've got Christian Eriksen at number 4 for a free transfer. He was really, really good for us the first few months. Had a bad injury last January after that Andy Carroll tackle. And then it's been a bit of mixed bag since then. But considering he's a free transfer and the start that he had at the club, I think Christian Eriksen's been a reasonably good signing.
And now we head to the heavy hitters, your top 3. So we'll go again one by one. Who have you got in 3rd spot?
Well, a lot of people said Manchester United this summer wasn't that good, but I've gone with Rasmus Højlund at number 3. I was really excited about this signing, and from what I've seen of him in a Manchester United shirt, I think his biggest issue is playing in a United side that's not very good at creating chances. He's a dangerous player. We've seen that in the Champions League. He's going to get better. He's only 20 years of age. I think for a raw talent, I really do believe that in 2 or 3 years' time, he will be one of the best strikers in Europe.
Into the top 2 now. Who have you got in second spot? We'll obviously be able to guess who you've got first after this as well.
Yeah, it was close between these two. And I think there will always be controversy because United are always going to create that. But I've gone with Lisandro Martinez at number 2. He's been injured basically since April. So you look at that first season, that's the only thing you've got. Came in, got criticised because of his height. Some people hadn't watched him. I think he was brilliant for his last season, and he's not played this season. So I can only go on last season. And I think we've massively missed him. Not only because he's the only real left-sided centre-back we've got, but the composure, the ability to play out from the back, the tenacity. I think he was a crucial player to Manchester United with that partnership with Varane last year.
And your number 1 then is Casemiro. And like your number 2, I would say they've both proven lots of people wrong. Big price tag for Casemiro. Martinez, you mentioned his height. So do you reckon, especially last season, they showed real leadership, especially in the win in the Carabao Cup final?
Yeah, I think Casemiro has been an easy target this season. I've heard things like his legs have gone and he's fell off. But the fact remains that he came into the Premier League last season. And I know Rashford won Player of the Year, but a lot of people would agree with me that Casemiro was the fundamental reason that we got where we did last season. I thought he was fantastic last year. There's no doubting this year there has been a drop-off, but I think that's just down to the fact that Manchester United played a relentless amount of football last year. And as we've seen with injuries, and now Casemiro's injured as well, I think there's a lot of players from last season that are burnt out. But look, Casemiro cost about 60 million quid. We were a terrible football club when he came in. We finished 3rd. We won a trophy. I think that that's a successful signing for me based on what he did last season.